The Black Gold Nation presents the League of Extraordinary Minds, Conscious Community-Centered Development for Maat, Part 1. What is the Black Gold Nation movement? The Black Gold Nation movement is an international organization that seeks to liberate and save Black people by establishing our own towns/cities whereby we control the environment to make our people bigger, better, and stronger. Why we came to be, based on the understandings, teachings, practices, and strategies of past and current organizations that our leadership has lived, studied, and or taught, and the need to continue doing. We build upon the successes, minus the mistakes, to provide our people solutions that work now, to implement a 100-year plan to build power. From 2016 to now, the Black Gold Nation has had a number of milestones and accomplishments. The first one being our first Black Gold leadership election that took place in June of 2017. And the second one is this coming June 2022. From that first election, we ended with 14 national departments that became 18, one international department that became 2. We've grown from 48 cities to 56 cities. We've grown from 12 countries to 16 countries. We have a monthly leadership summit. We're positioning ourselves for political power in over 75 American towns and cities. We're establishing a network of over 200,000 barbershops and beauty salons. We're rolling out plans to build nationally in our own communities. And we're launching a national campaign to develop our own closed loop agricultural ecosystem, because we understand that if we cannot feed ourselves, those that do will not only control us, but sometimes they will poison us. The ultimate goal, a nation within many nations. By this, we mean a collection of communities, towns, villages, small and mid-sized cities that are owned and controlled by Black people. We believe that we can most certainly do this. We believe that everything we need to make this a reality, we already have. But we understand fully that it doesn't matter how much we bring to the table. If we do not fully understand what we're dealing with, we will not make it, and none of our goals will be accomplished. If we don't understand the psychology, the psyche, the trauma of our target market, which is our people, Black people, then anything we want, we will not be able to have unless we deal with that. If we deal with that, what's been done to our people and how it's affected our people, anything we put in front of us can be accomplished. So we can have anything we want, but we have to first understand what we're dealing with. So from the time the first documented slave got to America in 1619 to now 2022, we've gone through over 400 actual, over 2,000 consecutive, back to back to back to back, and over 3,000 cumulative. If you were to add up all the years of everything that we've been through, it would be over 3,000 years of assault, terror, and destruction. We've gone through the most brutal form of slavery ever inflicted on one group to another group. We've had the global scientific community coming together to declare us inferior. We've had our human, political, and civil rights denied. We've been experimented on medically. We've had to deal with slave codes and Black codes. We've had to deal with terrorism, race riots, and mass murder. And by mass murder, we're not just talking about 5, 10, 15, 20 Black people killed at once. We're talking about 50, 75, 100 plus Black persons, whole towns wiped out because white people were trying to make a point. And sadly, amazingly, this happened more than once. We've had to deal with the rise of the KKK, America's first homegrown terrorist organization that still exists today. Convict leasing and peonage farms, two things that most people do not know, served to extend the life of slavery after the signing of the 13th Amendment, well into the beginning of the Second World War. Convict leasing is when a Black person commits a crime, they are thrown into prison, and based on the nature of that crime would determine how many years they would be in prison. And we're not talking about crimes of murder, robbing, raping. We're talking about crimes via the Black codes or the slave codes, which were as simple and ridiculous as looking at a white man in the eye got you years in prison. Looking at a white woman got you years in prison. Spitting on the ground got you years in prison. Being out after dark got you years in prison. Congregating in groups more than 3 or more, God forbid if you had a large family, got you sent to prison. That, along with peonage farms, is which was a white person saying to a Black person, "You owe me money." Black person had no recourse to push back against that lie, so they were thrown into domestic servitude, another word for slavery, and they had to work for that white person for free as they work off the quote-unquote debt for 10, 15, 20 years. And these two things collectively extended slavery an additional 102 years after the signing of the 13th Amendment after slavery. We've had to deal with Jim Crow and enforced racial segregation, which said to Black people, because you are Black, you cannot do, you cannot have, you cannot build, you cannot own, you cannot control. Redlining, gerrymandering, or gentrification, all of which serve are political maneuvers that serve to extend the power of white people and decrease our power. Redlining was at the time, it still exists, although they don't use a red pen anymore, but at the time it was literally a white person drawing a red line around a predominantly Black area and not allowing Black people to move out of that space and only allowing certain kinds of businesses to exist within that space. Gerrymandering is redrawing the political lines to strengthen the political power and vote of other people and weaken the political power and vote of our people. And gentrification, of course, is when they move into the Black community, buy up the space, buy up the land, raise the property value. We can no longer afford to live there, so we have to move out of our communities, some of which we've been living in for all of our lives. These three things are political maneuvers that are used by other people to, again, strengthen their political position and weaken ours. So if anyone tells you that voting doesn't matter, especially on the local level, they have no idea what they're talking about. The prison industrial complex, which is a direct result of convict leasing and peonage farms, which are direct results of slavery, is another thing that we've had to deal with. Most of us think that prison is about committing a crime and being sent away, but it's much bigger than that. Prison is a multi-billion-dollar business that's based on the incarceration of Black, brown, and poor white people. It's about labor. It's about physical labor. The more labor they can control physically, the more money they can make, and the more we are targeted. COINTELPRO, the government's counterintelligence program that they now admit was targeting Black and brown people for exile, incarceration, or assassination from 1956 to 1971. And they brought that back in 2016 with what they call, quote, Black identity extremists, end quote. COINTELPRO is the government's counterintelligence program that they use to destroy Black leadership, that they use to destroy Black programs, that they use to destroy Black movements. So it's not that we've never had strong leadership. It's not that we've never produced strong leadership. It's that every single time a Black person rises to do for Black people, or a Black group comes together to try to build for Black people, that Black individual and or that Black group is targeted by this American government for exile, incarceration, or assassination. The creation of the welfare state is the government saying to Black and brown women, if you want this money to feed your children, if you want this money for this housing, if you want this money for this program, there cannot be a man in the home. There cannot be a father figure in the home. There cannot be a head of household that is a male in the home. What kind of government wants to remove the father figure from the home of a family? And of course, that serves to affect the cohesion and the development and the strength of not only the Black family, but also the Black community. COINTELPRO affected that. Redlining and gerrymandering has affected that. Jim Crow has affected that. Convict leasing and peonage farms has affected that. Terrorism, race riots, and mass murder has affected that. Tuskegee syphilis experiment and medical apartheid has affected that. Scientific racism, and of course, slavery. The Black unit, the Black family, the Black community has been affected, has been attacked by all of these measures since we've been here, but we're still here. Iran, Contra, and crack cocaine is the U.S. government saying to Black people, the U.S. government under Ronald Reagan trying to get money for an illegal war in South America. Ronald Reagan, who was a president at the time, could not get money to fund what was happening in South America. Congress would not give it to him. So he and his administration, along with the CIA, come up with the awesome idea of pushing crack cocaine, selling crack cocaine to American citizens, i.e. Black people in this country, for over 10 years. And of course, the selling of that crack cocaine added to the destruction of the Black family, which served to destroy the Black community. And we've been reeling from that government act for since 1992 to now. And the crack cocaine epidemic went along with the war on drugs that said, if you use this crack that we're selling into your community, you're going to prison. If you sell this crack that we're pushing into your community on purpose, you're going to prison. It wasn't like it is now with the opioid epidemic that's affecting white people, and all of a sudden it became a national health crisis. That is not how it was for us. If we sold the crack or used the crack, it was not a national health crisis, despite the fact that that's what the government created. Our people went to prison as opposed to getting a hospital bed. And lastly, is Hollywood's propaganda, which may seem like it doesn't fit, but it absolutely does, because Hollywood has done a masterful job of marketing the image of the Black man, woman, child, and community to the world. So as a result, the world treats us as Hollywood has presented us, which is a people who are inferior, who are less than, who have no history, who have no culture, who have contributed very little, if anything, to human civilization, all of which, of course, is incorrect. This slide is not everything that's happened to Black people. This slide is some of the major things that have happened to our people. There's nothing wrong with Black people. Something happened to Black people, and that something is what you see in front of you. We could have easily created a second slide with just as many things on it, but you get the point. The point is that we have been through a lot, and not only have we not received therapy for any of this trauma, be it individual or group therapy, we can't even receive a suitable apology. So that previous slide constitutes over 3,000 years of continuous, relentless, methodical, intentional, simultaneous, systematic, which means it is on purpose, anti-Black acts of terror. That previous slide is not conjecture, it's not hyperbole, it's not supposition, nor is it assumption. It is American history and it's American current events. Since we've been here, mental and physical health, emotional and psychological health, equal and fair housing, education and community development, employment and wealth creation, criminal justice and incarceration. Every aspect of this American system has been unfair, unequal, and predatory. The system is not broken. The system is operating the way it was designed to operate. We just don't know that. So what does it mean that we've gone through over 3,000 years of anti-Black acts of terror? Quite simply, it means that Black lives do not matter to the dominant American, anti-Black, or African culture. If our lives mattered, history would not be what it is. If our lives mattered, current events would not be what they are. But it does not matter, it should not matter, it cannot matter that our lives don't matter to other people. Our lives have never mattered to other people. What matters most is that our lives matter to us. Black lives will never matter to other people until Black lives matter to Black people. And that is simply a reality we have to come to grips with, because we do have to make our own changes within our community before other people will start respecting us for what we do as relates to moving our community forward. So the solution, as we see it in the Black Gold Nation, is to revisit the Black Wall Street model of community. And by Black Wall Street, we're not just talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, that started in 1911, was eventually firebombed in 1921. We're not talking about the first 9/11. The second 9/11 was in Philadelphia, which is also a Black group. The third 9/11 is the one that you're probably most familiar with. We're talking about the over 200 times that Black people used their separation as a basis to build power since slavery. Since slavery, well into the early 70s, Black people used their separation to create their own cities, towns, and villages over 200 times. What we're saying in this presentation and what we believe in the Black Gold Nation is that the only solution as we see it, based on the circumstances presented before us, the only solution for our people, no matter where we live on this planet, is creating our own communities by which we can do our own thing. It doesn't matter if you are here in America, if you are in Africa, or you outside of Africa. Unless we control the space 100%, and we're not just talking about people who have melanin. For us in the Black Gold Nation, being Black is two things: having melanin physically, phenotypically having melanin, and your mindset, how you think. If you're not Black, both having melanin and a state of mind that's about moving Black people forward, then in this movement, we do not consider you Black, we consider you melanated. So we believe that the only solution as we see it is to put ourselves in a position by which we can own and control the space where we live. Because history has proven that when other people control it, we lose. When other people control any system within that space, we always find ourselves on the bottom of that system. It doesn't matter what it is, be the educational system, the agricultural system, the economic system, the political system, the security system, the spiritual systems, it does not matter. If other people control any aspect of those systems, we are at the bottom. And if other people control the entire space, politically speaking, we are last. So what we're saying in the Black Gold Nation is that we must do every single thing we can, because when we are in control, it's the exact opposite. Not only do we do just fine, but we start outperforming other people, which is one of the reasons they seek to destroy every single thing that we do. So in the Black Gold Nation, we understand that we're dealing with a multi-pronged threat, which is why we have a multi-pronged solution. The first aspect of our solution is Black Gold ambassadors or supporters. Those are people on the ground that are ready to do, as opposed to just talking about doing. Having our own leadership election by which we elect Black people from the grassroots level in the community, and or Black people who have proven that they have an undying love and commitment to the community, and Black people who have something to give back and they are willing to give back by training Black people in their area of expertise so that we can create cadres of Black people nationwide that are willing to lead the community forward. Having a youth development training program that's about more than just getting our children to go to straight trade school or college to get a job, but sending our children to trade school or college to run a city or to help run a city. Recapturing the Black dollar. And fortunately for us, there are a lot of Black dollars to recapture. We cannot exist in a capitalistic environment and or a capitalistic system without any capital. We're going to need money to do what we need to do, and no one is going to give us that kind of money. And of course, any profits that we produce must be shared with everyone that puts in on the production of those profits. It doesn't matter if it's an economic profit, an intellectual profit, a spiritual profit, an energetic profit, whatever profits we create as a group, we must be willing to share those profits with everyone who put in on the creation of those profits, so that as the organization gets bigger, better, and stronger, so too do the families and individuals and communities that help make the organization what it is. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to put ourselves in a position by which we can own and control the space where we live? We're going to do this by getting Black people involved. Why? Because that's all that we have. No one is coming to save Black people, but that is okay, because we don't need anybody to save us. All we need is a critical mass of Black people who get it, who are willing to be a part of a solution that matters, and who are ready, willing, and able to put in the time, energy, and effort to build. With the right team of Black people, with the right leadership of Black people, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. Conversely, with the wrong team of Black people, with the wrong kind of leadership, then we will accomplish nothing, or what we've continued to quote unquote accomplish, which has not gotten us very far. Enter the League of Extraordinary Minds. The League of Extraordinary Minds is a national competition to locate the right Black people to help establish a physical presence in every community where we have a Black church, to help heal, organize, educate, and train our people to take power for the purpose of establishing communities that have influence, value, and power. So we need a new kind of institution in the Black community, an institution that currently does not exist. We need an institution that's designed from the very beginning to heal Black people from all those bullet points, to organize Black people so that we can come together and do for ourselves, educate us as to who and what we are, and train us to take power. Why? Because power is never given. Power only respects power, and power is always taken. And we have to have power so that we can establish a new kind of Black community that has influence, value, and power. There are over 85,000 Black churches in this country. Most of them exist in the Black community, and most of us know what our communities look like. So either the church does not care or the church is confused. Although we know that there are some churches that do not care, we want to focus on the churches that do care. They just don't know what to do. So we want to build alliances with Black churches, along with any other Black organization that's serious about moving Black people forward. Because we believe with the right alliances in the right communities, with the right leadership and the right teams, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. And of course, we need to do all of this via what we call, or what is called, Maat or Mayat. What is Maat or Mayat? Maat/Mayat is the African/Kemetic. Kemet is another word for Egypt. Egypt is in Africa, so is all African. The African/Kemetic concept of truth, balance, order, harmony, law, morality, and justice. We have to understand that a system based on the subjugation and exploitation of our people has created a non-people. So if a system has done this, then only a system based on the uplift, survival, and forward progress of our people can fix what has been broken. We have to understand that what's been done to it has been done to us by a system. So if a system has caused all of this chaos and this confusion and this self-hate and this self-destruction, then only a system is going to reverse that. We have to understand that slaves did not get off the slave ship. The people that got off the slave ship were kings, queens, royalty, engineers, scientists, mathematicians, astrologers, astronomers, world travelers, world governors, medicine men and women, legal men and women, soldiers, warriors, community members, community builders, community leaders. That's who got off the slave ship. The people who were in their 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th dynasty of rule before there was a word for Europe. People who built things that they cannot figure out. So they say it must have been an extraterrestrial. ET must have built these pyramids because we can't figure it out and we are white. That's who we are. That's whose DNA flows through our veins. But of course, we don't know any of that. And we will never get back to being any of that because of the system that we exist in. The system is oppressive. The system is repressive. The system is anti-Black. So until we have our own system that no one is going to give us, which means we have to create it on our own, then we're always going to be in the position that we're in. That is why having the right Black people who are involved and focused on creating that system is critically important. Again, without the right leadership, we will never have the right system, which means we will always be what the white man has created for the majority of our people, which is a confused lot of individuals that have no idea who and what they are. The idea and the strategy behind the League of Extraordinary Minds comes from the NFL. After every Super Bowl, NFL team owners and coaches come together to assess where the team is strong and weak, and most importantly, how to show up those weaknesses to make the team bigger, better, and stronger into the NFL scouting combine, free agency, and the draft. The scouting combine, if you do not know, is when they have all the college kids on the football field doing drills, catching the ball, lifting weights to assess their athletic expertise and prowess. Free agency is when they move one player to another team who's already part of the NFL, and the draft is when they actually bring those college kids into the league. The NFL has been doing these three things for over 75 years. They don't do it because it doesn't work. They do it because it works. They make it better every year because it works. They add to it every year because it works. The NFL is the only business on the planet that controls multiple hours of multiple days of the week as it relates to the media. The NFL controls 3 to 4 hours on Monday with Monday Night Football. They control 3 to 4 hours on Thursday, which is via Thursday Night Football. They control 12 to 16 hours, I'll say 12 hours on Saturday with college football, and they control 12 hours on Sunday with Sunday Night Football. The NFL is a powerhouse. And they're a powerhouse because they built their brand based on things utilizing systems like the scouting combine, free agency, and the draft. We Black people need our own head coaches, our own combines, our own free agency, and our own draft. It is absolutely imperative that we have teams of Black people who are ready, willing, and able to lead Black people forward so we can do what we need to do. We have to have head coaches, individuals that are willing to build a team to move Black people forward in that city, in that space, in that municipality where you live. Support staff, people who are willing to help their head coach not only build the team, but help identify the issues that the team will be going after. Position coaches implement solutions that have been created by our national leadership that we already have and or by the team. So collectively, as a unit, as a team, we can move Black people forward in that space where Black people live. And of course, we connect with the Black community, i.e. the fan base, because without the Black people's assistance and support, we will never have the change that we need. Please understand, without teams of Black people in different regional, geographic, municipal locations around this country, teams of Black people who are committed to learning about how the system works so we can push back against it, we are going to lose. If we don't have teams of Black people who are willing to learn about past mistakes that have been made so we don't continue to make the same mistakes, we are going to continue to lose. If we don't have teams of Black people who are committed, who have an undying love and commitment to Black people, and who are willing to work together as a group, as a tribe, as a unit, as a nation to move our people forward in the cities where these people live, where the teams are, as well as other teams and cities around the country, we are going to become a permanent underclass in the country that was built on the backs of our people. Please understand, without teams of Black people who are committed to working to create a new reality for our people, we are not going to make it. Black people are currently on a trajectory to become a permanent underclass in America. If our Black domino falls here in America, I believe that our Black dominoes around the world will also fall. There are things that we can do here that other people cannot do in other locations around the world. We have opportunities here, but we're not doing everything we can to mobilize and organize ourselves around those opportunities. So we are failing ourselves, our children, and every Black child to follow. There's a lot of work to be done, but if anybody can do it, Black people can, because we've proven ourselves to be able to withstand the worst things that can happen to a people. A physical presence for change is absolutely vital. Self-sufficient independent communities that are controlled by the community is a must. The Black Unconscious Community Centers, BGC3s, located near Black churches, plus Project 2021, and our efforts will pave the way to move our people forward in different geographic locations around the world. The League of Extraordinary Minds will lead the way, and our fans will follow. The BGC3 will be the hub of all of our activities, our programs, our strategies, our classes, and our solutions. STEAM T training for the youth, science, technology, engineering, the arts, math, and the trades. Convenient convenience store and apparel centers, as well as retail space for our Black business owners. Spiritual psychological learning and healing centers, so that we can start reversing what's been done to us via those all those bullet points that was on that slide that we saw a few slides back. Podcast studios to give our people voice, to help us report the news as we see it, and to start working on redefining our image. Health and nutrition centers, because if COVID-19 has proven anything, it's proven that Black people are not healthy. And agricultural hubs. We have to be able to not only move food from the Black farmer's farm to the Black family's plate, but we have to monetize the effort. And we can, because that's $1 billion industry, and we must. Some of the things that we're going to implement, that we've already begun to implement, is having programs that allow us to reposition our wealth to move ourselves forward. Things like the POWER program, positioning our wealth to empower and restore. Control of our community's economic power is vital. Much of what we need can be funded by us if we simply understood how much power we actually have. Via the Black Gold Conscious Community Center, that power is designed to capture, control, and use the millions we give away to others every year, which lays the foundation for political power. This is an actual pie chart from actual data that we've done of an actual 5-mile radius here in Houston, Texas. We've identified over $1 billion that's leaving a predominantly Black space here in Houston, Texas. Our goal is to control 20, 30, 40, 50% of that $1 billion. To do that, we must be in control of these businesses. To be in control of these businesses, we must have Black people who are focused on doing that so that we can make that a reality. We can't continue to say shop Black, shop Black, shop Black when Black don't exist. And if we're being honest, how much shea butter do we really need? We have to own the businesses where our people shop. And those businesses are usually within 1 to 3 miles of where our people live. If we don't control those local businesses, then we're giving away millions, even billions, which is our future and our freedom. Having a political presence is absolutely vital, because if you do not have political power, with your physical presence, whatever you build, they will destroy, because it's what they do. Again, we must create self-sufficient, independent communities that are only controlled by the community. America is changing. Her power elite do not care about the Black mind, body, spirit, and psyche. America's systems, all of them are racist. We are not physically safe. We must create a counterculture that protects, supports, and builds up the Black mind, body, spirit, and psyche. We must own and control our own environment and our own institutions. We must control our local economics, and we must be able to feed ourselves, because again, if we don't feed ourselves, those that do will not only control us and use food as a weapon, sometimes they will poison us. What a head coach is building and what that staff will help manage. The 100% immersion of Black Gold Nation movement departments and strategies, departments and divisions, and collaborative strategies is paramount. This is too big for one organization to do. We're too far behind, our enemy is too firmly entrenched, and we're too messed up psychologically and spiritually. This has to be a collaborative effort with Black Gold Nation and other organizations that see it and want to be a part. Everything you see in bold is leadership that we already have on a national level. Everything you see indented below that are the divisions of those departments that we're currently looking for leadership for. This is why we're having a leadership election, because we understand that we can afford to focus on one front. We can afford to focus on one problem. We don't have the luxury of focusing on one problem at a time. We have to focus on everything at the same time, because we are so far behind and because time is not on our side. We have the expertise, they're just working for other people. We have the expertise, they're just retired. We have the expertise, they just don't know that they have allies and people who want to work with them. We have to put in the work to find the right people, to bring them on board, to lead our people in a unified effort in all the ways that we're being attacked and or destroyed. No one person can do this. No one organization can do this. It has to be a collaborative effort under the umbrella of an organization that's trying to move our people forward, regardless of religious preference, regardless of economic status, regardless of belief system. We believe in the Black Gold Nation that if you can agree with us on 3 simple things, then that is enough for us to work together and move forward. If you can agree that we are Black, we are oppressed, and you want to help us end this oppression. If you do not agree and or like the word Black, it does not matter if you use ADOS, FBA, Alpha and Omega, African Descendant, Tribe of Judah, Hebrew Israelite, Moor, does not matter, all the same people. If you can agree that we are Black on any of those terms, you agree that we are oppressed, and you want to help us end this oppression, those three things are enough for us to work together to do something that matters and build power for our people. Anything else that we might disagree on, and there are going to be disagreements, we can talk about that as we're building. And if we don't agree on those three, all three of those basic things, then that's okay, because this is not for everybody. And it's not meant to be for everybody. And we're not going to agree with everybody. We're looking for Black people who, again, who get it, who want to be a part of a solution that matters, and who are willing to put in the work to ensure we have the kind of future that we want, need, and that our children deserve. What if one Black person comes together with other Black people and we do that for 28 days? What could happen? So let's say I am one Black person, I love Black people, I want to see Black people win, but I cannot do it by myself, so I go out and I get another Black person on a Monday. At the end of the day, on Monday, we got 2 Black people, both of whom have said they love Black people, they want to see Black people win, but there's only 2 of us. So we go out on Tuesday, each one of us goes to get another Black person. That makes 4 people on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we do the same thing. 1 Black person going to get 1 Black person. We do it again on Thursday. 1 Black person going out to get another Black person. We do it on Friday, we do it on Saturday, and we do it again on Sunday. In 7 days, we have 128 Black people, all of whom have said, I love Black people, I want to see Black people win, but I realize I cannot do it by myself, so we go out and we get more Black people. If we continue to duplicate that effort of 1 getting 1 for 28 days, not even a full month, and if all of those people gives $5 per month, which is our membership fee in the Black-owned nation, we will have over $1.3 billion by which we could do something with. And that's not $1.3 billion one time. That's $1.3 billion every single month, because the membership fee is $5 per month. How many schools could we build with $1.3 billion? How many teachers could we employ with $1.3 billion? How many Black people can we train in security and give them what they need to protect and secure the community? How many businesses could we start? How many businesses could we save? How many HBCUs could we save? How many HBCUs could we start? We could do a lot with that kind of money. Now add to that $1.3 billion, what we spend in our own communities, the restaurants, the gas stations, the mini marts, the grocery stores, the nail salons, the beauty supplies, all those businesses that we support of every single day, of every single week, of every single month, those profits are in the millions. Other people do not come from other countries to America, straight to the Black community to open a business because they love us. They do it because we're not doing it, and it's hundreds of millions of dollars that we're allowing to leave our communities because we're not willing to put in the work that's required to open a business that we know Black people will frequent, because that business has been there our entire lives. We have the power to create the change that we need. We just don't realize it because we've never been shown how it can be done, and we've never been taught how to do it. We have to understand that without this money that our people are giving away to other people, we're going to lose. If we don't find a way to get a percentage of our people's discretionary entertainment dollars, we are going to lose. We must get our people involved if we want to avoid becoming a permanent underclass. Why? Because no one else is coming to save us. Ain't nobody coming to save Black people. We have to find a way to get these funds for our people, from our people, because no one's gonna give us money that we need to rebuild our communities. No one's gonna give us money that we need to put our children in therapy. And it's been proven that Black children who live in or around America's inner cities suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, a condition found in combat veterans, a condition found in people who've been to actual war. Our children are suffering from this condition. No one is gonna give our children money that we need to put our kids in therapy. We have to get that money. No one's gonna give us money that we need to create our own intelligence systems and security networks. And no one's gonna give us the money that we need to organize ourselves. Everything is on us to do, because no one is gonna do it for us, because no one cares. The Black community exists for other people to prey upon and get rich, and that is what they do. So getting a percentage of our people's discretionary entertainment dollars is everything, because without this money, we can do nothing, because we live in a capitalistic system whereby you must have capital. So this is the end of part 1 of the presentation. We thank you for following, for viewing, and we hope that you continue to follow us and register for part 2, because part 2 is where we talk about the solutions, the details of the League of Extraordinary Minds, and how this competition can really put our people in a position to win. So to view part 2 of the League of Extraordinary Minds introduction presentation, determine which of the following days and times work best for you for your schedule, and send in an email to theblackgoldnation@gmail.com stating which day is best for you. Upon receipt of your email, a Zoom access link will be sent to you. The days are Monday at 1:30 p.m. Central, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Central, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, or Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can either send an email to get the Zoom link or get with the person that invited you to the presentation, and they should already have the email, have the Zoom link, and if they do not, then of course we can send that to them. Again, we thank you for taking time to watch the first part of this introduction presentation of the League of Extraordinary Minds, which of course is a key component of Black Gold Nation. We believe that anything we want, we can absolutely have. We believe with the right Black people involved, we are unstoppable. We just have to find the right people. So again, thank you very much for taking the time. And always remember 2 things. No one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely always remember that nothing is more sacred. Not me, not you, not your kids, not my kids, not your family, not my family. Nothing is more sacred than the liberation, salvation, empowerment, and freedom of Black people. Because if our people don't make it, you're not gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it, our loved ones aren't gonna make it, and none of it is going to matter. But if we put our people first, if we put the movement first, if we put the tribe and the nation first, then the tribe and the nation will have power to protect those that are connected to it, and we'll wield that power like a 2-edged sword to ensure that anything that affects the Black will become the best thing, or we will destroy it because it's affecting our own. Thank you very much. God bless. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.